Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I invite you to take part in a simple ritual, one that has the power to reshape your reality, redirect your destiny, and ignite your deepest potential. And it begins with one sentence. Just one. I am the master of my thoughts, and through them the creator of my future. Repeat it before bed, every night. Make it the final thought that echoes in your mind before sleep takes you, for the thoughts we sleep with are the seeds we wake with. Every human achievement, every towering success, every transformation that has ever occurred in the life of an individual began first as a thought, a simple idea, a spark of possibility. You see, your thoughts are not idle. They are not random wisps of mental activity that come and go without consequence. Thoughts are the blueprints of your life. They are seeds, and your mind is the soil. Whatever thoughts you plant consistently and nurture with emotion, repetition, and belief will inevitably grow into the circumstances and outcomes you experience. You cannot plant thoughts of lack and expect a harvest of abundance. You cannot dwell on failure and expect to build success. The mind is obedient. It reflects, it magnifies, and it attracts. Whatever occupies your mind most of the time becomes your reality. This is not philosophy alone. It is observable in every story of human triumph. The woman who rises from poverty to prosperity, the man who overcomes crippling self, doubt to lead millions, the entrepreneur who creates a global enterprise from nothing but a vision, all of them began by choosing to think differently. Your external world is simply a mirror reflecting your internal world. If the mirror reflects chaos, change the thoughts behind it. If the mirror reflects defeat, change the belief behind it. The process of transforming your life always begins with a new thought. And when that thought is repeated, believed in, emotionally felt, and backed by unwavering faith, it begins to shape your decisions, your habits, your energy, and eventually your outcomes. But here's the truth most overlook. The mind doesn't care what it creates. It will shape failure as easily as it shapes success, depending on what you feed it. That is why the sentence you repeat before bed matters so much. It is not a mere affirmation, it is a command. You are telling your mind, this is the image I choose to build. This is the future I choose to create. And the more vividly you hold that image, the more faithfully your thoughts will work to make it so. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a creator of circumstance. Your thoughts are tools, powerful ones. Use them deliberately. Use them wisely. Use them with purpose. Because when you shape your thoughts, you shape your future. And that, my friend, is where true power begins. When your conscious mind drifts into rest at the end of the day, your subconscious mind begins its uninterrupted work. It never sleeps, it never stops. It receives every thought, every emotion, every image you impress upon it, and it accepts them as truth. It does not argue, it does not reason, and it does not reject. It simply takes what you give it and begins to organize your reality to match. This is why the final thoughts you hold before you fall asleep are so incredibly important. In those quiet moments before sleep, the conscious mind relaxes, its defenses lower, and the subconscious becomes especially receptive, almost like fertile ground, freshly tilled, ready to absorb any seed you place in it. If you feed it worry, it will feed your life with anxiety. If you feed it defeat, it will orchestrate circumstances that match that image. But if you feed it direction, if you give it a clear and confident command, it will begin immediately working to make that command real. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. If you vividly tell it, I am the master of my thoughts, and through them, the creator of my future, and you do so with feeling, consistency, and intent, it will take that message and begin reprogramming your beliefs, your expectations, and your internal compass to align with that new truth. Over time, you'll notice changes in your attitude, your emotional patterns, your reactions, even the people and opportunities you attract. That's not coincidence. That's your subconscious rearranging your life from the inside out. Many people spend their final waking moments reviewing the day's problems, regretting the past, fearing the future, and without realizing it, they are giving their subconscious a blueprint to recreate the very pain they wish to escape. But you can make a different choice. You can use that sacred window before sleep to speak directly to the deeper mind, the part of you that never tires, never questions, and never stops working. You don't have to know how it will change your life. That's not your job. Your job is to plant the seed with belief and allow the subconscious to do what it does best: transform invisible thought into visible reality. Every night, as your body drifts into rest, let your final thought be one of power, clarity, and ownership. Let it be a direct order to the mind that shapes your life. Because while you sleep, your subconscious listens. While you dream, it builds. And while you rest, it is already setting the stage for the person you are becoming. Speak to it wisely. Faith is the invisible force that turns thought into power and desire into reality. It is not just a feeling. It is a mental attitude, a deep-rooted certainty that what you believe is already on its way, even if no evidence yet exists in the physical world. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the imagined and the real, and without it the words you repeat are merely sounds, empty, fragile, and powerless. But when you speak with faith, you give those words life, energy, and movement. It is easy to believe in what we can see. It takes no strength to believe in the sun when it is shining overhead. But faith asks you to believe when the skies are dark, when the evidence is thin, when nothing has yet changed around you. Faith requires that you speak the words not because they describe your current situation, but because they affirm your chosen destination. It is the trigger that activates the subconscious, energizes your thoughts, and begins to align your entire being toward your vision. When you repeat the sentence, "I am the master of my thoughts, and through them the creator of my future," you must say it not as a weak hope, but as a firm declaration. You must say it with the same inner confidence as one who already possesses the life they are designing. Because your subconscious does not respond to hesitation, it responds to certainty, to conviction, to emotional intensity. That's what faith brings. Faith is not blind. Faith is based on a deeper understanding that all things are created twice, first in the mind and then in the world. It is a recognition that your dominant thoughts, once fused with belief, have no choice but to become form. And so, faith is the inner yes, the mental agreement, that tells the universe, "I am ready." Without it, your thoughts remain potential. With it, your thoughts become power in motion. People often wait to feel confident before they take action. But the truth is, action follows faith, not the other way around. The moment you decide to believe, your posture changes. Your voice changes, your choices shift. You start to take steps, even small ones, that align with the life you desire, and the more steps you take, the more evidence you create. Then, what once required faith becomes fact. But you must start with faith. It is the switch that turns on the engine. It is the spark that brings your inner world to life. Say the sentence before bed with faith, not just once, but every night. Let it sink in. Let it imprint itself on your heart. Speak it until the words no longer sound foreign, until your whole being rises up in agreement. Because the moment you believe with certainty, your mind obeys, your body follows, and your world begins to change. Faith is not a luxury. It is the starting point of all transformation. Repetition is the sculptor of belief. It is the quiet, persistent force that shapes your identity, thought by thought, word by word. No one is born confident. No one begins with unwavering belief. Certainty is built, and repetition is the tool. Every time you repeat a thought, an affirmation, or an idea, you deepen its groove in your subconscious mind. What was once a whisper becomes a voice. What was once a doubt becomes a truth. And eventually, what you say over and over becomes what you are. At first, the sentence may feel unnatural. When you say, "I am the master of my thoughts, and through them, the creator of my future," you might feel resistance. A voice inside you might argue back, reminding you of your past, your failures, your fears. That is normal. That voice is the echo of old programming, but repetition is how you override it. Every time you choose to speak the new truth, you weaken the old one. Every night you repeat the sentence, you cast a vote for the future you're building. And with enough votes, the new reality wins. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed, and repetition is the watering process. One drop won't do much, but daily watering, consistent, deliberate, intentional, produces roots. It creates depth. It gives rise to growth. The same principle applies to belief. You cannot say something once and expect transformation, but say it 100 times, say it with emotion, say it when you don't feel like it, and eventually your subconscious begins to accept it as fact. Repetition does more than create belief. It builds identity. The more you say it, the more you begin to act in alignment with it. You start making choices that reflect your new self, perception. You begin noticing opportunities where before you saw obstacles. You start moving through life with a quiet sense of control, because your internal dialogue is no longer one of doubt, but of direction. What once felt like fiction begins to feel like fact, because repetition has trained your mind to accept it as such. This is why the ritual of repeating one sentence before bed is so powerful. It's not about magic, it's about method. It's about creating consistency in a world full of chaos. It's about saying the same powerful thing until you feel it, until you believe it, until you become it. Athletes use it, leaders use it, visionaries use it, because they understand that repetition is not boring. It is sacred. It is the act of rewriting the script of your life, one line at a time. So say the sentence, not just with your voice, but with your heart. Say it until you believe it. Say it until the words no longer feel like hope, but like truth, because repetition doesn't just inform your mind, it reforms your mind, and when that happens, certainty is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you carry. Conviction is the inner fire that moves thought into motion. It is the moment when belief becomes so strong, so real, so deeply embedded within you, that it can no longer stay still. And when conviction takes root, action becomes inevitable. You no longer try to act, you must act. The body follows where the mind is sure. That is the power of conviction. It does not merely think, it does not merely wish. It moves. So many people wait to feel motivated before they act. They wait for clarity, for certainty, for some external push. But conviction doesn't wait. Conviction creates the push from within. When you repeat the words, "I am the master of my thoughts, and through them the creator of my future," again and again, and you say them not casually but with focus and intensity, something profound begins to happen inside you. You begin to believe, and belief leads to movement. Action, real action, comes not from pressure but from alignment. When your thoughts are in harmony with your vision, and your vision is charged with belief, your body starts making different decisions without force. You begin to choose habits that support your higher self. You speak with more authority. Walk with more intention. You become more selective with what you allow into your life. This is not effortful, it is natural, because when your mind is convinced, your actions naturally follow. Conviction removes hesitation. It erases the stalling and second guessing that come from doubt. You no longer ask, "Should I?" You simply do. You no longer need motivation because you are driven by something deeper. A quiet knowing that you are already becoming the person you once only imagined, and that knowing is powerful. It gives you momentum, not because the world changed around you, but because you changed your position in it. When you repeatedly affirm your power each night before sleep, you are not just programming your subconscious, you are preparing your behavior. You are laying the emotional and psychological tracks that tomorrow's actions will follow. You are planting a direction, and with each passing day, your steps will begin to align with that direction. Without even forcing it, you will begin to notice how your daily choices reflect the sentence you've been repeating. You will speak with more confidence, say no more easily to distractions, and show up more fully in the areas that matter. Why? Because your internal compass has shifted. Action is the fruit of conviction, and conviction is the child of belief. Belief, in turn, is born through repetition and emotional engagement. This is the chain reaction, and it all starts with a single choice: to take control of the thoughts you feed your mind, to repeat a truth that empowers rather than limits, and to trust that your subconscious will guide you toward aligned action when the belief becomes unshakable. You do not need to force change. You need only to feed the mind with clarity, with power, and with certainty. The rest follows. Action is not the beginning, it is the result. And once you're filled with conviction, you will act not because you think you should, but because you know you must. That is when transformation truly begins. So tonight, as the day closes and the noise fades, repeat the sentence: I am the master of my thoughts, and through them, the creator of my future. Say it not as a wish, but as a truth. Say it not with doubt, but with conviction, and watch what happens, not overnight, but over time, as your life begins to reflect the very power you've always held within. Thank you.